Hi there. As spirit science is ramping up and building a team and more projects are starting to come out, it's a little easy to get lost in all of the chaos, especially if you're a new viewer. It's easy to get lost in everything that's going on. So, I'm dedicating this episode of Spirit Quest to summarize everything that has happened in the past year. Ready? Here we go. My name is Jordan Duknich. I first began exploring spirituality and spiritual thought about 2 weeks before Christmas in 2010. Before then, I had not been raised in any particular religion, although my parents did take me to church when I was younger to see if I was interested. I guess innocence was how I was raised, not against or for any particular belief system of my own. I pretty much just floated through life like that, with much more down-to-earth and daily concerns than if I was following the will of a God that I didn't know or understand. When I first began learning about spirituality, I had said that there was always something missing and that I wanted to explore it further. So I did. Most of my free time from then on was spent researching and Googling around the internet, scratching the surface of discussions and seeing what people were talking about, finding out the meaning behind 2012 and seeing if there was actually any validity to the rumors of a dimensional shift. Everything changed when I came across Drunvalo's Flower of Life books, which I still highly recommend to this day. There is so much information in there, and a lot of the things we discuss in spirit science has come from those books. I found free PDFs of the book online, so I have provided those copies free for anyone else who's interested in learning. They are available on Mediafire, of which the links I've provided in the comments of several episodes of Spirit Science, and probably this video too. About 4 months later, I decided I was going to try and explain what I had learned to the world. It just kind of felt right at the time, and I had been animating cartoons on Newgrounds for several years. So I started Spirit Science, and allowed many of the topics of interest to flow through Patchman. The series itself didn't come from a desire to force people to see things my way or anything like that. I just felt that a lot of people, if introduced to these topics, would have a reaction that I did and a great desire and interest to learn more. The problem was that this information wasn't very accessible. You have to do a lot of reading to figure things out, and I wanted to try and teach things from my perspective and, much more simplified. Plus, it opened up so many more interesting discussions than what people were talking about on a regular basis too. For example, with all of our modern technology today, we cannot recreate the Great Pyramids of Giza. Modern society tells us the ancient Egyptians built them by dragging these blocks across the ground for hundreds of miles. I don't care how much you want to argue this, we cannot build them today. They defy everything we know about human origins. This is something worth discussing together, as a global community. So, what is Spirit Quest? Well, about 2 or 3 months before I even started Spirit Science, I asked myself, what do I want to do? And the answer came back to me, I want to travel. I wanted to see the world. Come on, I'm 20 years old, let's do this. I had been on a few trips in high school to lands far beyond, and I wanted to go experience that for myself. I was just finishing my last semester of college as well, so it really worked out. Of course, everyone bothered me about it when I told them. Everyone complained and asked how I would get money and how I was going to do this, and skeptical of the whole traveling thing. I didn't really let their low frequencies get the best of me, and I told them that I would always have exactly as much as I needed to move forward on my quest. And so far, I have. As long as I trust in the universe and trust in the path I'm on, I will get to wherever I need to go. I bought a used iPod Touch and set off on my way, being able to film and record my adventures for the world to follow if they wanted to, as I backpacked around the planet. I got a trip to LA to hang out with my friend Joe, who was working on the Pyramid Center. He helped me get there and let me stay with him because I was going to help him work on the Pyramid Center promo video and help people be aware of what he was putting together. After that, I went to Santa Barbara to meet with a new friend I met over Facebook named Nicole, and Santa Barbara was absolutely beautiful. For those who are ever driving around the States, you should definitely check out and stay in Santa B for a few days. It's lovely. I returned to LA to stay with 2 more people, Lee, who was actually very involved with the distribution of the movie Thrive, as well as Vanessa, who I worked on an animated series with called Patch Parables. You may have heard of it. Vanessa is She-Patch. After that, the universe literally pulled me to New Jersey, where I connected with some awesome friends, Andrew, Scotty, and Joe, and we all hung out and had an awesome time. I got my own little workspace while I was there, and I was able to pump out a ton of Patch Parables. That was nice. We road tripped down to Asheville for a weekend on 11/11 and attended an event called Zenergy. It was an amazing experience. Everyone there had gathered out of love and togetherness, and we had this really amazing time just being. We returned to New Jersey for another few weeks, and I grabbed a train down to Richmond, Virginia, where I met with my friend Lily. Lily is Lion Patch, by the way, as a part of all the new animated Spirit Science members that we have going on in the new banner. She's really intense, and really awesome. We drove up to Washington, D.C. and checked out some monuments, where then I grabbed a Greyhound bus down to Asheville. I stayed in Asheville for another few weeks and connected with some really fantastic friends that I had made at Zenergy. I stayed with my buddy James, and also got to work with Phoenix a lot, who is a mystical shaman who is doing some really incredible work. He's actually also traveling around the world, and has a website called the OCG Project. We're gonna have a new video series with him up soon, called Phoenix Feedback. Keep an eye out for it. After that, the universe decided it was time for me to go abroad and leave the US. And so, I departed south to the polar opposite side of the planet, where I would connect with my friend, the King of Atlantis. Through the help of synchronicities and a very close friend of mine named Tori, I was able to get a buddy pass with Delta and get a round trip to Australia and back for super cheap. I'm so thankful and grateful that came to me. I'm sure if you've been watching the new Spirit Science episodes, or tuned into the Atlantis King episodes, you may be familiar with this guy. I stayed with him for a month in the land down under, and somehow ended up convincing him to come travel around the world. No idea how that happened, but it is, and he will be arriving stateside very soon. In this time, we also updated the website. The banner has also changed from just Patchman to a plethora of new characters, one for every chakra, as well as a Spirit Science Council explaining who we are. The Spirit Science Council, I guess, is another way of saying staff, but we don't quite resonate with staff because that's likened to a business where we feel more like a collective, if anything. A group of friends all working on the same or similar projects towards the same common goal through love and harmony with each other. And hey, councils are pretty cool. You should make a council. I have landed back in LA now, and several of us are preparing for a very fun journey. The Atlantis King, Lion Patch, Tori, who is Patch Girl, and myself are heading out on a road trip to Tucson for a massive gem fair, and then to a few different locations across the states. And now you're pretty much caught up. This is where we're at, and this is where we're going. Where will the universe take us? Nobody knows, but as long as we trust in our hearts, we will guide ourselves exactly where we need to go. My message for everyone out there watching this is that you can do anything. Hey, I even made a video about it. Because I believed that by trusting in my heart and the universe and knowing where I wanted to go, you can easily move towards whatever it is. I've done just that, and I want you to know you can too. You are on your own spirit quest. Your life is your quest. And if you ask yourself the biggest questions about who you are and what you want and where you're going, you can consciously decide to go there. You can begin riding a wave of synchronicities that will open up doors and change your entire life. But the will to do so has to come from within you. Farewell, and see you next time.